Nobody loves you, Axhton.
What's up? I'll be showing you guys how to make a Lil Uzi Vert, Popp Hunna, TyFontaine type beat. So to start off, I'm gonna show you guys the melody I made with a plugg for Serum. So at the end, there's a variation in the melody. I laid out the root note first, so it's a G, a D, D sharp, and in the second measure it's an F, then go back to the G, A sharp, D, F. So I just played around with it till I got a bass melody that I liked, and then that was all like in the third octave. Then I moved on to the fourth octave. These are basically just chords being played throughout the beat. As you can tell, there's one right here, another one, and another one this. And they're laid out in a EDM pattern. Like this pattern is very common in EDM with the chords being played. And then in between each note, I made it flow together by adding some supporting notes in there, just to make the melody more interesting. And this kind of helped transition to this chord. So without it, this is what it's going to sound like. And with the supporting chords, you can click in each notes or you can just play on your keyboard, but I prefer clicking in for these beats since it's going to be faster in my opinion, and I'm just used to it. And those small rolls like this one, it's going down and it just transitioned into the beginning of the melody and it just flows with it. Moving on to synth. This synth is a synth from Serum. So it basically just repeats the first 4 bars. Just copy and paste it over. Except on the last note, I moved this note to a higher note. And yeah, it just follows the rhythm with the plugg that I showed you in the beginning. And this synth right here has kind of like a sidechain effect with it. Like it's bouncing. And I like those type of synth in these beats because it just gives more movements. And here are the bass notes. So what I did for the bass note, I followed what I made with the melody. So G, D, D sharp, F. That's what I did in the bass note. G, D, D sharp, F. I just followed I followed the chords in the melody. Here's the lead. And this is a EDM pattern too. So it's on the 1, the 2, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. it gives a bounce to it. This is what it sounds like all together. Alright, and now I'm going to show you guys the vocal chop. That's what the lead sounds like in the beat, in the parts where it's at. For the leads, I start off with a G. Then I got to that D note, F. I just played around with it. I played around with the melodies. I just clicked them in till they sound good, and it's similar to the bass note. I kind of just copy it, add some transitioning notes to it in the leads, and just pull it up a couple octave higher. So if you guys want to know, the arcade bank it's in is called Blurred Out from Hook. Arcade's really nice for vocal chop. I like it in my opinion. In my opinion, it's pretty nice. So yeah. Everything in arcade was tuned to a G minor. So I just added variation with it like this. Alright, there's a stutter effect right here. And this 4-bar right here on the 8 measure right here, I want it to be different. So same as the pluck melody, it changes up at the end of it, and it transitioned to the beginning again. So it just flows together. For the claps, I just did a normal standard 8-bar clap structure. Third beat. Hi-hats. I made a simple hi-hat pattern, then I copy and paste it onto here, onto the other bar. I just kept it simple because the melody is already interesting. And I didn't want the hi-hats to be complex and take away from the melody. So it was basically just a simple 2-step pattern with a couple rolls every now and then, mostly on these part where I'm putting the hi-hats. On here, I usually like putting my hi-hats rolls, and I put some hi-hats on some lower notes just to give it some variation. It just gives it like a small bounce. Right. Now we're going to move on to the snares. There wasn't anything too fancy with it. It just gives it a balance. You don't want to overdo your snares. You don't want to throw a lot of chops on there. A lot of the virtual beats is just simple, because the artists, they're going to put like some vocals on it too. So you don't want to distract the listener. You don't want them to like focus on the beat only, like just hearing a bunch of hi-hats rolls and a bunch of snares and some complex drum pattern like hard 808s. You want it all to be pretty balanced. Here's a reverse open hat. So I put it right here, and it ends on where the claps should hit. So this is what it sounds like. That just gives it some variation. And here's a normal open hi-hat. the 808s. I also followed the chord. I followed the melody that I laid out earlier. So G, D, and here's a F. It transition. When everything is played, I'll show you. It's just transitions. It takes the G and this F transition it to the D note. It just sounds smooth together. And I put a kick. It follows almost the same as the 808 pattern. And here's what the drum sounds like all together. On the master, I threw a soft clipper on there. The plugs, I just did a simple EQ. Just cut off the low end. Same here, I kind of boosted the mids, cut low ends, the synth, parametric EQ, chorus, and a flanger on there. So that's with the effects. This is without. You can kind of tell there's a difference. It's very small, like a small detail, but it just adds into the beat. This is what the bass sounds like. So without it, just cut off most of the high ends. Just give some higher frequencies instrument some room to breathe. And for the lead, this is what it sounds like without any effects on it. Now this is what effects sounds like. I added some gross beat. I did like a Transskate 1. It's pretty common, like Lil Uzi Vert's type beats. They throw like Transskate 2 or Transskate 1 onto the beat. I threw backmask on there. This VST is also free and I recommend it too. It just adds some glitches to the beat. I threw some chorus, some reverb, and I cut off the low frequencies. For the vocals chop, I did the vocal presence default preset in the parametric EQ2. Also through a Transskate gross beat effect. It just adds like a glitch effect onto it. And clap, I didn't really do anything, I just panned it. Hi-hats, didn't do anything. And the sound is already panned to the left too. Snares, I didn't really do anything, just already panned it. Perks, there was nothing on there. Open hats, just panned it to the left a little bit. Same with this. 808s, I threw it onto mono channel, cut a little bit high end off of it. Same with the kicks, just cut a little bit of the high ends. Alright, and here's what the beat sounds like.
Nobody loves you.